Most gardeners don't realize they're slowly creating one of the worst hidden problems in soil every season they grow. It doesn't show up immediately. Plants still grow, watering still seems normal, and fertilizer still works at first. But underneath the surface, roots are being forced into tighter and tighter spaces until they can no longer expand properly. That's root compaction, and once it sets in, everything in the garden starts feeling like an uphill battle. The mistake that causes it is simple. Repeated soil disturbance followed by settling without structure support. Over time, soil particles pack together, oxygen levels drop, and roots stop penetrating deeper layers. What looks like healthy soil on top often hides a dense barrier just below the surface where most root growth should be happening. That's why plants suddenly struggle in heat even when the soil looks moist. They're not actually accessing water or nutrients properly anymore. The root system is trapped in a shallow, stressed environment. One of the tools I use to catch this early is a 4-in-1 soil meter that measures moisture, pH, temperature, and sunlight intensity. It helps me see whether the root zone is actually functioning or just appearing fine on the surface. I'll leave the exact one I use in the description if you want to check it out. It's not about gadgets. It's about confirming what the soil is doing below where your eyes can see. Now the solution I'm sharing today looks too simple to matter, but in practice it completely changes how soil holds structure over time. It's the forgotten cardboard method. Why root compaction builds silently even in good gardens. Root compaction doesn't need heavy clay soil or constant foot traffic. It can happen in rich, well-fed garden beds too. Every watering cycle causes particles to shift slightly. Every compost addition changes density. Every drying cycle causes contraction. Over time, those movements create layered compression zones. In raised beds, I've seen this happen within 2 growing seasons. The top layer stays loose and fertile, but underneath, a dense zone forms where roots slow down or completely stop expanding. That's the real reason some gardens look productive early on but lose vigor later, even when feeding and watering stay consistent. How cardboard interrupts the compaction cycle. Cardboard works not as fertilizer, but as a temporary structural stabilizer. It slows how soil settles and creates space for biological activity to rebuild structure instead of collapsing into dense layers. I use plain brown cardboard only. No tape, no glossy coating, no printed surfaces. I lay it directly on the soil and overlap edges slightly so there are no gaps. Then I soak it thoroughly with water before adding compost or mulch on top. That soaking step is critical because dry cardboard can initially repel water and delay soil integration. Once in place, something important starts happening beneath the surface. Instead of soil particles immediately compressing into tight layers, the cardboard holds structure open long enough for worms, fungi, and microbes to rebuild airflow channels. As it breaks down slowly, it leaves behind a more porous and stable soil structure. Roots don't hit a sudden hard layer anymore. They move through a gradual, aerated zone that supports deeper growth. What I've seen in real garden comparisons. In tomato beds where I applied cardboard, root systems consistently grew deeper and more evenly distributed compared to beds without it. When I dug into the soil mid-season, the difference in structure was obvious. One bed had compact resistance layers. The other stayed crumbly and easy to penetrate. Water behavior also changed noticeably. Beds with cardboard retained moisture more evenly without becoming waterlogged, while still allowing proper drainage. That balance of air and water is exactly what roots need but rarely get in compacted soil systems. Why digging deeper doesn't solve the problem. Many gardeners try to fix compaction by digging, tilling, or double digging. The problem is that this only resets the surface temporarily. The underlying cause, settling without structure support, remains unchanged. Cardboard works differently because it doesn't disrupt the system. It stabilizes it while natural soil biology rebuilds structure over time. Instead of forcing change, it allows gradual correction. That's why results tend to last longer. The mistake that ruins this method. The biggest mistake is using the wrong type of cardboard. Coated, glossy, or heavily printed cardboard does not break down properly and can interfere with drainage. Another mistake is applying it dry and covering it immediately without soaking. That slows down microbial activity and delays soil integration. I also avoid placing cardboard directly against plant stems. I always leave a small gap to allow airflow and prevent excess moisture buildup at the base. These details matter more than strength or thickness. How this works in containers and smaller systems. In containers, compaction happens even faster because soil volume is limited. I don't use full cardboard sheets in pots, but I do use small shredded pieces mixed into compost or layered lightly in large grow bags. The principle stays the same: maintain structure and prevent tight settling over time. Everything comes back to root zone movement. Why this also improves water behavior: once compaction is reduced, water movement becomes more consistent. Instead of pooling, channeling, or disappearing into dry pockets, moisture spreads evenly through the soil. That means fewer dry zones, fewer waterlogged areas, and more stable plant growth even during weather changes. This is where using a soil meter becomes useful again. When readings stabilize across different parts of a bed, it's a strong sign that soil structure has improved. The deeper lesson behind the cardboard method: root compaction isn't just a physical problem. It's a structural imbalance caused by repeated cycles of disturbance and settling without support. Cardboard works because it slows that process just enough for nature to rebuild structure correctly. Healthy soil isn't about constant input. It's about stable architecture that supports roots, water, and air together. If you understand that, gardening becomes far more predictable.